The October 26, 2021 meeting of the Ways and Means Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Barnhart.
Here.
Mr. Burrell.
Here.
Mr. Brew.
Here.
Chairman Delahaney. Here. Mrs. Deploria.
Here.
Mr. Felder.
Here.
Mr. Hebert.
Here.
Mr. Mafucci.
Here.
Mr. Marinetti. Here. Mr. Morelli.
Here.
Ms. Smith.
Here.
Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Legislator Hebert?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any speakers signed up for the public forum?
We have 2 speakers signed up for the public forum this evening. When your name is called, just come forward to the podium. You'll have 2 minutes in which to address the committee, and then just kindly conclude when the timer sounds. Our first speaker is Dr. Bert Nana.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. If I could just quickly.
Sure.
We've received some complaints from constituents that the mics are creating a lot of feedback for those listening online. I don't know if there's a way for those mics to be turned off or to be toned down just so that people online can be listening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you for the opportunity to address the county legislature on this evening. MCC is appreciative of the priority which the county legislature and county executive and the legislature continue to demonstrate by its financial support and unanimous support of MCC's 2021-22 budget request. Another example of how MCC is viewed as a jewel in a community. As part of our testimony before the legislature in July and August, when you considered the college's 2021-22 budget request, we shared information about the proposed increase in the technology fee and its impact on both Pell and non-Pell recipients. The approved increase of $50 per applicable term is budgeted to yield approximately $700,000 in income and impact both Pell and non-Pell recipients nearly equally at $350,000 per cohort. MCC students continue to bear the burden of the gap in state full-time equivalent or FTE aid to offset these and related increases to the cost of their education. Additionally, we noted that MCC's technology fee was established by SUNY to build, maintain, and support an information technology infrastructure that is appropriate for an individual campus to provide a high-quality learning environment. Revenue from this fee supports specific technology needs such as computing and information technology, library automation, remote network access, public computing sites, student services, automation, and other administrative and student serving systems. As budgeted for the fiscal year 21-22, MCC intends to invest nearly $7.8 million in support of network infrastructure, computing, and like infrastructures, including information and cybersecurity. In maintaining our priority on providing MCC students with an accessible, high quality, and affordable education, we are appreciative of Legislator Hebert's outreach to better understand how the technology fee impacts MCC students and in response to demonstrate strong support for providing direct assistance to cover the increase. If approved, the funds would be restricted coming directly to MCC and not through the foundation because its restricted status for the express purpose of reimbursing all Monroe Community College students the amount charged as a result of the increase. This will enable MCC to deliver real and equitable relief to its students who are increasingly most at need of support. Mr. Chair, thank you very much.
signed up.
The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the minutes from the September 28th, 2021 meeting before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. The next item on the agenda is new business. Mr. Clerk?
Referral 21-0364, amend the Monroe County budget in Resolution 211 of 2020 to increase Monroe County's contribution to Monroe Community College for the payment of tech fees for the 2021-2022 school year.
Moved by Legislator Heber, seconded by Legislator Deploria. Legislator Heber.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to make a few comments on this referral, just to make sure everybody has a good understanding of the grounding of the foundation. Clearly, much of the technical fee increase is driven by the COVID-19 crisis. Classes were driven virtual and remote. As people had to go off campus to attend in virtual fashion. MCC is fully aware that this is viewed as a one-year fix for the 2021-2022 academic year only. A question was asked last night at the Rec and Ed Committee, and this will not lead to additional chargebacks to the towns, as our normal county support of MCC does. MCC will be managing the 4 different levels of tech fees, depending on the number of credit hours you sign up for. There's a different level of tech fee, and they will be managing that to ensure that each student receives the proper credit for both the fall and the spring terms. Fall term having already been paid, spring term yet to be paid for the vast majority of students, I'm sure. And I had sent a note to the administration, Deputy County Executive McCann, on October 11th in the morning, asking for any thoughts on the referral, to which I received no response, so we proceed as if things are fine. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Legislator Barat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the author, I just have a couple questions. Because this is a substitution, the original was replaced several days ago. My question is, are the only 2 changes the addition of the small paragraph in the back about funds being restricted and the end of the second paragraph? Are those the only 2 changes?
I believe that's, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble understanding through the mass, through you, Mr. Chairman, Legislator Broth. I do believe those are the only 2 changes. The one change was driven by the fact that we originally thought, you may have heard Dr. Nana say that it had to go through the foundation. They only found a way around that, so that was one of the changes driven by that. The other one is just basically administrative support change.
Okay, because if you read the substitution here, that last sentence is an incomplete sentence. It's going somewhere and it doesn't say what you expect it to say. I'll read it to you. By covering the increase in fees, we will be making not only our students' education more affordable during the financially challenging times of the COVID-19 pandemic. Period.
Period. So there it's
Okay, I'm just pointing out that there seems to be a missing to the chair. There just seems to be something missing is all.
Here, Mr. Chair, we'll take a look at it and see if we can amend it to the legislature.
Yeah, I don't think it's a major issue, but clearly it was intended for something there and it's gone.
We'll double check.
Thank you.
Thank you, Legislator Barat. Legislator.
Thank you. Through the chair to, I think, the maker of the motion or our guest, do you anticipate this $50 fee remaining in out years?
Yes, this would become part of the ongoing technology fee going forward.
And through the chair, then, we're essentially helping students in year 1, but they're on their own.
That's how it's set forth at this point.
I can address the
Yeah.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to that's absolutely correct, because we only know funding that we can use this year. When I initially spoke to MCC, it was clear that it was a one-year fix. Perhaps there's something that the administration can find, or that we can find in the future, but at this point in time, it's still we have to pay.
Thank you, and then through the chair, because I would like to say that it isn't, a fix isn't necessarily our taxpayers fixing it. It's the state of New York fixing it and paying this fee for the students. That could be an alternative if we lobby them through whoever chooses to answer. Great, so I would suggest to the chair that if we feel it's important to help students with this money now, we work diligently to ensure that hopefully the state will pay us and not our local taxpayers and not students. That would be my, thank you.
Legislator Morelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tribute to the maker of the motion, how is it that the $700,000 figure was reached?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, Legislator Morelli, the $700,000 is simply the number of students times the average tech fee increase times 2 for 2 semesters.
And through you, Mr. Chairman, to the maker of the motion, is there a plan in place with the funding if not all of the money is used?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I didn't understand the question.
Perhaps MCC?
So, Mr. Chair, may I respond?
Oh, yes, please.
If I'm understanding the question, it is there a possibility that not all of the 700,000 will be used? And that is not the case, because we anticipated the number of students that we would have that are currently enrolled and then calculated it there in that way.
Thank you. And through you to I believe MCC in this case. It's my understanding from reading the referral that this is going to be a reimbursement, that this is not a credit applied, but rather a reimbursement. Am I correct in understanding that?
You want to speak to that, Daryl? I'll please invite Daryl Jacob Moore to speak along with me, our Chief Financial Officer.
Thank you.
Legislator Morelli, it will be a credit to the account. We will not be issuing checks to the students or cash.
So through you, Mr. Chairman, to MCC. So in that case, it will go for all of the students that are already enrolled. Is that correct? Between the start of the 2021 academic, 2021-2022 academic year.
That is correct.
Okay. And in that case, have all of those students already paid this fee, so they would just see that credit on their account?
They've all been billed the fee, and many probably have paid, but as you can imagine, there are payment plans and so on, but yes.
And through you, Mr. Chairman, how will you go about explaining this to students? Like, what is your process of the rollout of explaining why they'll be receiving this credit?
They'll have a statement on the refund that'll indicate what it's for, and that will be according to whatever they were billed, according to the number of classes they have taken.
Through you, and this would allow then students with credits to be able to apply that to tuition, anything else?
Yes.
That credit
Yes.
can be applied.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I
Mr. Chair, I also wanted to respond related to that. And again, these funds are restricted. They are restricted only for that purpose. So we can only use it for the technology fees to be applied in a future semester.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I could ask an additional question that is a follow-up. So that would be what the credit would be applied for, right? But students are just going to receive a dollar figure credit to their account, which I assume then that they could use toward their bill to MCC, right? So to some degree, it would allow them to use their money for tuition. Is that correct?
Joe, you want to speak to that specific?
More or less,
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
oh,
This is-
yeah, I mean-
This is a credit no matter what. It's not gonna, the students won't have to go through any hoops to
No.
ensure that.
You are correct. It's providing relief on the tech fee through a credit that then gives them additional funding that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah. And so through you, Mr. Chairman, it would then just state technology fee credit or something?
Yes,
to that
yes.
effect? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Legislator Heber.
If I may, through you, Legislator Morelli, originally, my thought was to only cover the people who actually had to pay out of pocket the additional tech fee in dollars. However, that clearly would have penalized those students whose Pell Grants and TAB grants
TAB.
cover the full tuition. But those students still need that money for transportation, for food, for babysitting, for whatever. And therefore, when it became clear what the magnitude of the money was, and that we still had it in the contingency fund, it became clear that we would better serve all the students in Monroe County, city, suburb, et cetera, by expanding it to the entire population.
Well, through you, Mr. Chairman, if I may, that contradicts, though, Legislator Heber, what MCC just said, is that this money would just remain on their account. So to say that the money could be used for.
Actually, if I can respond to you, Mr. Chairman, it doesn't contradict it, because think about it this way. They have a bill for $1,000, now they get a bill for, they only have to pay $900, and the grants are applied to pay it down, and then they have access to the remainder funds.
I see what you, so to your point, it's simply that they then have extra money for something else,
Correct.
not the money that this is.
Not the money that we're giving them, but the funds that would otherwise have had to be applied to get allowed to go to school are now available to them for the extra costs that they normally would have available.
All due respect, Legislator Heber, I see your point. It's a little bit disingenuous to say, though, that the funding we're providing could help towards babysitting or bus fare or any of those items. I get your rationale, but that's certainly not the point of this legislation.
Correct.
To help assist with that.
Absolutely correct. Through you, Mr. Chairman, you're 100% correct. It is simply makes the additional funding available to them to use how they see fit.
Fair.
And fixes the problem that COVID drove, which was my goal.
Understand. Thank you, and I appreciate the responses.
Legislator Calvin.
Statement in the question. Someone who went to college on financial aid, so-called refunds. Once your credits are applied, everything, and you have money, you get that form of refund. I think that's what Legislator Heber was talking about. He said you have money that goes to babysitting and other things, because now you have, once your bill is paid, the excess then is given to the student each semester. But question I have, if the issue was typically goes to our financial aid is not being covered by financial aid, why didn't this MCC just decide to do this? Decide just raise tuition by $50 a semester to cover, and then also that financial aid will be able to just use the financial aid to cover the amount that was out. I'm out of problem, but for they got to be targeting
Mhm. Mr. Chair, if I want to see clarification on the question, is your statement that this is only being applied to students that qualify for financial aid?
Why wasn't tuition just raised instead of
Mhm. So two-part response to your question, because of the generosity of this resolution, it was very important that we not leave any student behind in terms of the ability to have that additional technology fee increase covered. So the equity of it for whether a student qualifies for financial aid or does not qualify for financial aid. The second part of your question that I hear is, why not raise tuition? Is that your question, Mr. Felder? Okay, in the context of this conversation, what we're trying to do is offset students' expenses. And the only part of the challenges that we continue to have, which was part of my opening statement, is that our students already bear the burden for the fact that our state is not adequately funded their education. And so that burden gets shifted to our students to make up the difference. Mhm.
I know that the game states plays, they won't raise the amounts of certain funding that goes to college, but then when you raise tuition, because I know schools do this, they raise tuition so they can get, keep them off financial aid. question was, if you, this is before the question, the whole question of this world comes up. When the decision was made, this money was needed for to cover technology costs.
Mhm.
If it was put in tuition, most of the students did would have been able to cover it. Or at least a lot of students would be able to cover the financial aid, and that would have taken some of the burden away.
Okay.
Because it would be covered just by the increase
Mhm.
being tapped. And then, you know,
Yeah, I
over the long term, because if we look at long term past this year, you know, next year, this fee's gonna be the year after, the year after. And so, and at night,
Through you, Mr. Chair, we certainly will appreciate you partnering with us in the advocacy to rectify that.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral number 21-0366, authorize a contract with Labella Associates for professional engineering services for the Iola Combined Heat and Power Plant Improvements Project.
Move it, Mr. Chair. Second.
Moved by legislator Deploria, seconded by legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0367. Sorry.
Moved by legislator Smith, seconded by legislator Marionetti. Legislator Smith.
Through the chair, why was the switch made from tablets to injection?
Through the chair, I'm not able to answer that question. I'll have to respond back.
Is there, legislator Smith, do you have any further?
No, I'm not. Thank you.
Okay. Legislator Heber.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration. I believe Governor Hochul recently signed a law requiring jails to administer a new list of medications, largely at the inmate's discretion. Is this related to that in any way, shape, or form?
Through the chair, no, it's not. The MAP program has been in effect, I believe, for the last 2 years in the jail. I think the legislation that the governor proposed is probably tailored after what the county of Monroe has done.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0368, amend the 2022-2027 capital improvement program to advance the sheriff's incident command post vehicle from 2023 to 2022.
Moved by legislator Marionetti, seconded by legislator Brew. Is there any discussion? Legislator Brock.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the administration, could you please describe what is the nature of the incident command post vehicle? Is it soft propel, is it towed? What's included in it? How many capacity is the workforce that will be working inside it? That sort of stuff.
And through the chair, the current vehicle is a older model trailer, which has been used, I believe, for the last several years. It became necessary to look for a replacement vehicle due to the fact that the current vehicle is a trailer being hauled by another vehicle, which makes it difficult to position at critical events. What the sheriff is looking for is a dedicated command vehicle, which can be driven up to critical events. It will have up-to-date electronics in the vehicle, the ability to have a generator, the ability to have meeting rooms or meeting areas in the vehicle as well, to meet the need that is going on in the county. And I think in 2014, the sheriff found that there was a need for a vehicle due to a shooting, I think in Penfield or Pittsford, and they didn't have a adequate critical event vehicle. And that followed by a double homicide in Hamlin in 2018, the Army aviation accident in 2021, and the most recent homicide in Parma. It showed that the current vehicle was wholly inadequate for the need to investigate those incidences.
Thank you. I appreciate the fact that the current vehicle was inadequate. What I'm really trying to get at, I'm trying to visualize what this is. Is it the size of a fire truck? Is it like an MRAP? I mean, what is it going to look like? $750,000 is quite a bit, and I'm sure a lot that goes to electronics. And the question is, what are we actually going to purchase for that amount of money? Through the chair.
And through the chair, it's a 40-foot design Freightliner M2 single axle chassis vehicle, which would be operated to the scene of an incident. It's more of a dedicated command vehicle versus a trailer.
Okay. Through the chair of the administration, would it be possible to have some sort of description slash, there must be a link of some variety that could be shared with the legislature so we can take a look at that?
Well, through the chair, absolutely.
I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0369, authorize a contract with Lawrence Cloner for professional services for law enforcement subject matter expert team lead for public safety law enforcement technology systems.
Moved by legislator Brew, seconded by legislator Hebert. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please. Legislator Hebert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, the administration, quick question. The referral mentions 2 additional one-year terms, but it doesn't say what the cost will be. Do you know what those are?
Through the chair, I heard 2 one-year terms, but I didn't hear the rest of it. Could you repeat?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman, to the administration. The referral authorizes the option to renew for 2 additional one-year terms, but it does not specify the cost. Is there a not to exceed cost or something like we would normally see? At least I believe we most often see those in referrals.
Through the chair, it was estimated it would be the same, the $35,000 per year that we're giving him.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0370, acceptance of 2 grants from the New York State Department of Health for support of the Monroe County Nurse Family Partnership Program and amend Resolution 270 of 2021 to amend and increase the contract with Community Care of Rochester, DBA Visiting Nurse Signature Care.
Move, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by legislator Hebert, seconded by legislator Deploria. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0371, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Department of Health for the local health department support for the COVID-19 vaccine response program.
Move it, Mr. Chair. Second.
Moved by legislator DeFlorio, seconded by legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Legislator Smith.
Through the chair, how do you plan to reach individuals with disabilities and other underserved populations?
The chair, we have several mechanisms to reach out to underserved. In fact, part of this grant is focused on meeting the needs of the underserved. We have many outreach teams that go out to the community and go to high rises, rec centers, libraries. We use the Center for Disability Rights as a place to do vaccination. They have a very good network to bring folks with disabilities in. So those are just a couple of examples.
Go ahead, legislator.
Through the chair, will this include the approved vaccine boosters as well?
Yes, through the chair, this is a vaccine-focused grant, so it should include any of the COVID vaccine guidelines that exist now and going forward.
One last follow-up question to the chair. When you've been putting this together, are there any new initiatives that will be different than what you've done before in the past?
Through the chair, not yet. Honestly, with COVID, we have to adapt, and I can't predict 1 year from now if we may not be doing something different than what we're doing right now.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0372, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Department of Health for the HIV surveillance program.
Moved by legislator Smith, seconded by legislator Marionetti. Is there any discussion? Legislator Smith.
Through the chair, is this a full-time or part-time position for the registered nurse?
Through the chair, it is a 3.5 days a week position plus a portion of another nurse that is just a portion of their time to assist, and some non-nursing to help with the clerical identification of the records and the filing of reports and so forth.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0373, amend the 2022-2027 capital improvement program to add a project entitled Public Health Communicable Disease Data Management System Replacement and Implementation Support Services for Electronic Health Record System.
Moved by legislator Marionetti, seconded by legislator Brew. Is there any discussion? Legislator Brock.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through to the administration, I was present at the Human Services Committee, so I'll follow along the discussion. My question is, am I correct to understand that the emphasis for establishing the system is primarily to promote efficient communications between departments or divisions of Monroe County?
There were several priorities with this initiative. The first is actually that the software that we have is so old it's not being supported. It also, in addition to improving communication, it's going to improve our billing. It also will allow automatic electronic prescribing, which we don't have right now in our systems. So there are many priorities that this EHR is going to help.
Thank you. Through the Chair of the Administration, will the system allow for the divisions of the departments to connect to the RIO system?
Through the chair, we've sent it out to bid, so I don't know which vendor we're going with, but part of that is interoperability so that we can download information from other data sources when it is appropriate to do so.
Okay, so through the Chair of the Administration, the reason I'm asking is because we have, constituents and citizens and such who are utilizing our services, and they're getting services that are going to impact the medical life, even when they're not working at the county. And so one of the purposes of having a RIO system is so that this information is easily shared with their future healthcare providers. And so I recognize that you're going out to bid, you may not know for a fact, but I would urge you to consider this to be a very important factor moving forward for whoever the vendor is that you select.
Through the chair, the steering committee would fully agree with you.
Thank you. And then finally, I just want to check, does this affect or does this involve MCH at all? Or is it a separate process for them?
Through the chair, MCH has its own medical record that is more appropriate for an inpatient facility. So it does not include MCH in terms of EHR.
So they're separate. Thank you very much. I figured they might be both. I wasn't sure. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0374, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Office for the Aging and authorize a contract with Lifespan of Greater Rochester for the New York State Elder Abuse Education and Outreach Program.
Move it, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by legislator Brew, seconded by legislator Keeper. Is there any discussion? Legislator Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the administration, just a simple question. How long have we been receiving this grant?
Through the chair, this is the 8th year of the effort.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0375, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Office for the Aging and authorization to contract with Lifespan of Greater Rochester for year 2 of 3 of the 2020-2023 Lifespan Respite Care Program.
Move, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by legislator Hebert, seconded by legislator Deploria. Is there any discussion? All right. Legislator Brown? Good? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0376, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Office for the Aging and authorization to contract with Lifespan of Greater Rochester for the 2021-2026 Lifespan Respite Care Program.
Move it, Mr. Chair.
Moved by legislator DeFlorio, seconded by legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0377, authorize a contract with the University of Rochester Medical Center to provide ventilator and pediatric unit staffing at Monroe Community Hospital.
Move it, Mr. Chair.
Moved by legislator Smith, seconded by legislator Marionetti. Is there any discussion? Legislator Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I just want to make a statement that this truly is a gem of a program. I actually had the opportunity to tour the site when it was first coming online. And as I recall from then, this is one of the few facilities locally that provide these services, particularly for pediatric cases. And so I'd just like to congratulate MCH and staff who continue to maintain it. I do have one question. My understanding has been for the past, well, up until the past several years, that we've never been at capacity. Have we been hitting capacity with COVID, or has that not affected these hospital beds through the chair?
Through the chair, I think COVID has had an impact on us not being able to reach a full census. Our current census today is 17.
So through the chair, so I understand. Okay, I don't understand. It seems to me that if COVID has an impact on our ability to fill those seats or to fill census, it would bring more people, not less. But to put, something from the effect of COVID. Is that not the case, that somehow if you have COVID, you can't use these beds? Is that what I'm understanding through the chair?
Through the chair, based on the positivities that we've had with both staff and residents, it has prohibited us from admitting into certain areas within the facility.
I see. So it's from a health security point of view then.
Through the chair, could you repeat?
So from a health security, from maintaining health of all concerned, that limits the ability to build the bed. Is that correct?
Through the chair, that is correct.
Okay. Thank you very much. Again, it's a wonderful resource we have, and I'm very glad we have it here as opposed to, I don't even know where the next nearest one is. It might be Pittsburgh. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0379, authorize the acquisition of interest in real property for a fiber optic permanent easement located at East Ridge Road in the town of Arundicoid.
Mr. Chair.
Moved by legislator Marionetti.
Second.
Seconded by legislator Brew, and seconded by legislator Morelli.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0380, increase and improvement of facilities in the Gates-Chalet Ogden Sewer District, acquisition of property at 13 and 15 Carroll Street from the village of Churchville.
Moved by legislator Brew, seconded by legislator Hebert. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral number 21-0382, amend the 2022-2027 capital improvement program to increase the funding for the MCRC and RRF facilities improvements project.
Moved by legislator Hebert, seconded by legislator Deploria. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, legislator Hebert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration. On page 51 of the CIP, the project is listed as having $200,000 expenditures in 2022, 2024, 2026, and 2027. Could you explain how that changes to $708,000 now?
Through the chair, for 2022, we will be increasing from 200,000 to 708,000. We are evaluating the current proposed CIP that's in draft form that we're developing internally to determine what level of funding will be required for future years. But the intent is that it will be cash capital. These are projects we identified and that we intended to fund through the operating budget, but determined to be most appropriate to create a capital project and use cash capital. So the intent is in 2022 to fund it at the $708,000 level. And then we're currently assessing the needs going forward in the balance of those years in the CIP that you mentioned. But again, it will be funded through cash capital.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, one last question. Are any of these expenses benefiting waste management, like the management facility?
Through the chair, these expenses are entirely, I would characterize as landlord responsibilities, namely the site, paving, building envelope, heating and ventilation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item.
Referral 21-0383, authorizing intermunicipal agreement with the Niagara County Sheriffs to house a high-risk inmate at the Niagara County Jail.
Moved by legislator Deploria, seconded by legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Legislator Felder.
My question is about the cost. Why does it cost, I heard it costs like $100,000 a year, so, to house an inmate. This is almost $30,000. And I see the it says the cost for staff, but that's, someone speak to that, please.
Through the chair, I didn't hear the entire question, I apologize, but I can, the price of it, this was, obviously it was to pay for overtime costs from their county. And they, although they kept them for, this person for 187 days, the $22,524 is just what it cost them and additional staffing. Does that answer your question, sir?
So, 20 states, it's just that seems to be a very high amount. There are no specialized facilities or Niagara, or is Niagara need facilities that people sit in those types of inmates to. Is that what it is? Jim?
Through the chair, Niagara is just a county jail, very similar to ours. It holds a little more than 300, where, at the time we used to hold about 1,000. So we're a larger jail, but we do substitute jail orders with Livingston, Ontario, Niagara, some of the Orleans on occasion. And we pretty much share inmates just to lessen the burden and lessen the risk for inmates and staff, depending on the circumstances. In this case, just because it was a high-profile person that was going to be on suicide watch, constant observation, it takes one extra person, regardless of where this person is incarcerated, to sit in front of him and watch him. So, unfortunately, just the circumstances surrounding this one person cause overtime in Niagara County. So, it is a regular thing. That answers your question, sir.
So last question. So through you, Mr. Chairman, we're not capable of housing an inmate here. Oh, you don't think it's safe to house an inmate here?
In this case, we didn't, simply because we feared, and I think it was the fact that some of our staff lives in the town, and there was a very good chance that we had a member that family would have been a victim of this person. And it's definitely a fact that family and friends of some of our members were victims of this person. So for the victim's sake, or for the, for the incarcerated person's sake, for the safety of our staff members as well, you know, just keep everything legit. We don't want any allegations of dirty looks or misbehavior or anything like that. So for everybody's sake, just to ensure this person's safety and there's no questions, we thought it was possible.
Good enough, thank you.
Legislator Hurrah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the administration, I understand the reason for doing this, and you mentioned that it's something that happens, I don't want to say regularly, but it's not unusual. So my question is, how often do we either move inmates or accept inmates for similar reasons, such as that, to keep everything above board, or to avoid the appearance of bad behavior, or whatever it might be? I mean, is it something that happens once in a while, or how often will we ask that to the chair?
It's very regularly. You know, at any given day, we have probably 2 or 3 from other counties with us, and we have incarcerated persons in other counties. So it's something we have very, very regularly. We use it. We have somebody that misbehaves here, but we'll give them a change of pace and send them to another county and vice versa. So,
Okay, thank you very much.
yes.
Legislator Morelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the Sheriff's Office, I would just like to clarify this. So the purpose behind sending this particular inmate was due to the risk of, it was the risk of appearance, is that correct? Because there was some way this inmate had interactions with members of the Sheriff's Department or the staff?
Legislator Morelli, I guess I'm going to say if we want to discuss in detail any further, that we should probably go into executive session. The questions that I've been allowing have been more general in nature, but if we get more specific, I think it's in our best interest to go into executive session.
I think that the sheriff had indicated, the deputy had indicated some of that. I just want to clarify if that's, I don't need more specific detail, but
Okay.
is that that's my only question. Is that somehow the case?
Through the chair, I guess an example is in another county had a gentleman that had burglarized a bunch of homes. It was Livingston County, but don't quote me on that. And a couple of the victims were members of that sheriff's office that worked in jail. So obviously they called us and we gladly accepted that person, you know, for everybody's sake, you know, obviously.
Yeah, I think that's what, Mr. Chairman, I'm just trying to.
Sure, no, I understand.
This is more of an appearance to show that there's no concerns of anyone's safety and sort of to ensure that no conflicts of interest is essentially where the concern might be here. Is that fair to say?
Through the chair, I don't know if it was really done for appearance as much as it was just to avoid any negative interactions between anybody or allegations of such. So,
Okay, thank you very much.
yes.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral number 21-0384, authorize a contract with Public Safety Psychology for occupational, psychiatric, and psychological testing.
Moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Marinetti. Is there any discussion? Legislator Barak.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the administration, Is the contract amount similar or the same to past years?
Through the chair, could you repeat that, please?
Sure. Is the contract amount for this service the same as it was in past years?
Through the chair, yes, it is.
Thank you. Through the chair, the administration, who else, if anyone else, responded to this request for qualifications?
There were two other respondents.
Thank you, and through the chair, who are they?
Through the chair, one was Fifth Avenue Forensics, and the other was IMA Group.
And through the chair, the administration, did any of these previously hold this contract?
Through the chair, the current vendor was, who has been chosen for this contract.
All right, thank you very much.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0385, acceptance of a grant from the United States Department of Agriculture, Food, and Nutrition Service for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program Process and Technology Improvement Grant.
Moved by legislator Marinetti, seconded by legislator Drew. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral number 21-0386, amend the 2021-2026 capital improvement program and 2021 capital budget to advance the South Avenue, Elmwood Avenue to Bellevue Drive and Elmwood Avenue, Mount Hope Avenue to South Avenue project from 2022 to 2021. Amend bond resolution 293 of 2018 to increase financing for the project. Authorize the Director of Transportation to concur with the City of Rochester's award of a construction contract, and authorize the county executive to enter into agreements, amendments, or other documents with the City of Rochester necessary to implement the county share of this project.
Move it. Moved by legislator Drew, seconded by legislator Hebert. Is there any discussion? Legislator Brock.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a comment, I just want to compliment the administration on including the anticipated schedule in this referral. I always find that to be helpful. We know what's coming when, particularly in this case for me, this is actually in my district. So I do get questions about what's going on, when it's going to end. And so it's nice to know there's an anticipated schedule. So if we can ever share that in the future, I'd always urge that. Thank you.
Great. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0387, amend resolution 426 of 2020 to increase the contract with HCCO for temporary staffing personnel for information technology services.
Move it, Mr. Chair.
Moved by legislator Hebert, seconded by legislator Deploria. Is there any discussion? Legislator Hebert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration, is this CARES Act funding going to support this referral?
Mr. Chairman, CARES Act funding that was earlier this year transferred to the Public Health Department is accounting for this expense.
I'm sorry?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, that was a yes. I'm sorry, I had trouble hearing.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0388, authorization to settle a lawsuit in New York State Supreme Court, Monroe County, index number E2019006038.
Moved by legislator Deploria, seconded by legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Legislator Brock.
I actually just suggest we move to executive session because I'll have to make this.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All right. All right, hold on one second. All right, we're going to be voting on whether you're in favor to move us into executive session. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, at this time, we're just going to take a couple minutes here to get everyone who needs to be in here for executive session. And then when we come out, we'll make sure we let people know that we come out of executive session. So we're going to be going back to the main motion here. I believe we've discovered or discussed everything. So with that, I don't believe there's any additional questions. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0389, authorize a contract with CW Solutions, DBA CW Solutions, for title and liens searches for the Fast Forward Monroe programs.
Move it, Mr. Chair.
Moved by legislator Smith, seconded by legislator Marionetti. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 21-0394, amend resolution 314 of 2021, authorizing intermunicipal agreement with Spencerport Fire District for purchase of Lucas automated chest compression device, to authorize intermunicipal agreements with all local fire districts for reimbursement of COVID-19 related expenses in accordance with the CARES Act.
Moved by legislator Marionetti, seconded by legislator Drew. Is there any discussion? Legislator Deploria.
Yeah, thank you. To the chair, to the administration. And first of all, I want to say thank you to the administration for expanding this resolution and obviously seeing the value in the purchase. My question is, will the administration be communicating with our local fire districts of this funding opportunity, or how will they be notified?
Through the chair, yes, we'll reach out to all the fire districts. As you may recall, we had IMAs with all the fire districts last year, so we have sort of a process in place that we can initiate again this year.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Are there any other matters to come before the committee? There being no other matters, the October 26, 2021 meeting of the Ways and Means Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Ways and Means Committee will be on Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021 at 6 p.m.